Hello, friend. We are going to talk today about what we do in circle time. Do y'all remember circle time? I know it's been a few weeks since, I can't even talk today, since you were able to actually sit in circle time with your friends, but you're still going to be doing it when you go back to school. So it's important that we remember the rules and how to best sit at circle time and what we do to make our teachers happy, okay? So this little story just helps us remember some stuff. And some of you might have gotten this story in the mail, and if you did, you're welcome to read along. If you didn't and you want a copy, just let Miss Abby know and I'll get you one, okay? So what do we do in circle time? First it says, everyone can go to circle and sit on their seat. So normally at circle time you have your own place to sit, right? Sometimes it might be in a chair, sometimes it might be in a taped spot, but sometimes you might just have a carpet square. And no matter where you sit, you got to make sure you stay in that seat, okay? That's really important at circle time, that you stay where you're supposed to stay. So while you're sitting at your seat, it is so nice to sit nicely and to look at your teacher. Do you remember when we talked about good listening? And it's really important to stop, look, and listen. That's the same thing. When you're at carpet time and you hear your teacher start talking, it's time to start looking and listening. And then you can listen with your ears and try to do what the teacher says. So the teacher might be telling you something she wants you to do. So that's another reason why it's really important that you're listening and looking at her, so that if she tells you something important, you know what to do, okay? Sometimes it can be hard for me to sit, but I can look at my sit picture and try to remember to sit like all my friends at my seat. So sometimes it's so hard for us to have to stay in one spot. It's not fun. We want to be able to get up and run around and have a lot of fun, but all your other friends are doing it, and it's just going to be for a little bit of time, okay? You're not going to have to sit there forever. But while you're sitting there, your friends are trying to listen to your teacher, and your teacher could be telling you something really important, or could be teaching you something so important for you to learn. So even though sometimes it might not be fun to have to sit there, you have to try for just a little bit, okay? Because after you do such a good job sitting there and listening, guess what? Normally your teacher will say, okay, you can go play. And then you'll get to do a good job and not get in trouble, right? If I get up off of my seat, it is hard for my friends to see and have fun. So if your friends really want to listen to what your teacher is saying and they really want to do what they're supposed to be doing, but you get up and you crawl around the carpet or you stand up and be silly, do you think your friends could see very well? Probably not. So I know that sometimes it might not be fun for you, but we also want to make sure we're not just being a good listener, but we're also being a good friend. And being a good friend means we're making sure that our friends can listen to the teacher too, okay? When we are in circle, I need to have nice hands and try to keep my hands to myself. So if we're at circle time, let's act like I'm sitting on the carpet. Should I be waving my hands around and pushing my friends on each side and tapping them and touching them? Should I be doing that? No. Do you think if I'm doing that I'm listening very good? Probably not. Do you think if I'm doing that my friends can listen very good? Probably not either. So it's very important that you keep your hands to yourself, look at the teacher, and listen. Just for that little bit of time, okay? Because once carpet time's over, it's time to go play again. So you can do it. So, let's remember this one more time. What do we do in circle? So when the teacher starts talking, We sit in our seat, we look at the teacher, and we start listening to what she says. First, the teacher points to me, and then I can answer with words. So if I want to tell my teacher something, and I'm dying to tell her, it's so important, I want her to know, we can't go, hey, listen to blah, blah. We can't yell like we're being silly, okay? If you really want to tell your teacher something, and it's not your turn to talk, then just raise your hand, okay? If you raise your hand, then she's going to see you, and she's going to say, oh, hey, you, what do you want to say? And she'll let you talk, okay? But we can't yell and talk over our teacher when she's talking, because remember, what she's telling us is very important, okay? So if you want to tell your teacher something, just raise your hand so that she sees, and when she sees your hand go up, she'll know, oh, I better call on him or her so that they can talk to me, okay? So that's what you do. When the class sings, I can sing. So if the class sings a song and your teacher says, okay, class, let's sing, then you can sing, okay? So you're only doing stuff, though, when your teacher tells you. And if the class dances, then you can dance. So if the teacher says, okay, let's get up and do a dance, or let's get up and exercise, then you get to do that, okay? But we can't do it unless the teacher tells all of us to do it, okay? If you do it and nobody else is doing it, then it's going to be hard for everybody else to listen. So we don't want that to happen. So the circle time rules are, I sit at my seat. I don't get up and run, right? I sit at my seat. I look at the teacher. I listen. And I have nice hands, so I don't touch anybody. I just keep my hands to myself. Okay? So, that is how we will be, your friends will be, your teachers will be. They'll be so excited if you follow these rules, okay? If you do what you're supposed to, if you stay on your spot, if you look at your teacher, if you listen, if you stay quiet, and if you keep your hands to yourself, then this is the happy face that's going to be on your teacher's face. She's going to be so happy with you. Wouldn't that be awesome to know your teacher was so happy that you did so good at carpet? I bet you might get to play extra games if you can do that, okay? So I want you to work on this at home. So even though you might not have carpet time with your friends, maybe you could have a carpet time with your mom or your dad or your grandparents or whoever you live with. Just try to find a time where you can all sit together and maybe you can talk about stuff. And really practice listening and looking at who's talking, okay? Keeping your hands to yourself and not getting up until your mom or whoever you're with tells you to, okay? So I hope you can practice. I know you can do it because you're so smart. Bye.